All right, welcome back to Jurassic World Evolution. In this video, we're going to continue on with a little explanation, I guess, from my perspective of some things that I struggle with. And I figured if I can help anybody else on this path, it would be great. So I'm just going to explain a few things. In a previous one, we talked about the management views. And in this one here, I'm going to talk about the guest facilities and how they function.
Hey, it's Kevin DeWitt here and welcome to the Past His Prime YouTube channel. If you're new to this channel and you're interested in relaxed, casual gaming for an older generation, then please subscribe to my channel. Like the video and click the notification bell to be notified of all my future videos.
So in this game, we have many guest facilities, all right? So, if we open up guest facilities, we've got lots of stuff here. We've got emergency shelters and hotels and all this great stuff. So let's run through them sort of one by one. It's not about explaining each one, but just getting a key understanding. Now, when we are talking about our island, if we look at our facility rating here, one key thing is capacity. Okay, so obviously we have a guest count and we have a listing here of operational hotels. So if we want to get our park growing, and I don't suggest that you build a hotel straight away, but once you start getting to a point where I guess you've got a lot of guests going in, your park is working well, but you're reaching capacity and you're not being able to grow the amount of people coming in anymore, then we definitely want to talk about a hotel, all right? And it will be one key part of this facility rating. You'll have this capacity rating here, and if it obviously says poor or bad or even just okay, you might want to look at it to make it great, like I've got here. And there's not much else to know about a hotel other than that is simply it. You put down a hotel. Now, when you highlight it, you can see here, not only does it show you how much power it consumes, so you need to obviously factor that in with your power supplies and everything else, but it tells you the park overcrowding. So at the moment, we have park overcrowding at 6%. So in theory, I could put down another hotel and that will reduce that. So the greater that number, the more demand there is for having a hotel. Now, there's not really much you can do with a hotel, but one other key factor that's really good to know is that a hotel is also catered under the dinosaur visibility. So if you look here, if you ignore this monorail driving past, if I'm looking at the dinosaur visibility in the management views, you can see there's a circle here and the hotel is lit up. So in this case here, where this hotel is here on the enclosure or habitat spot, it has visibility of dinosaurs. So it actually increases your dinosaur visibility. Now I can actually go here and go show view, and this is where it gets really weird, but in theory, this is the view from the hotel. Now, I should have been able to see Indominus Rex, but I can't, even though it did show that that is included in the visibility. But I guess they're also including from the guests' windows, from their rooms and all that sort of stuff. And this is just sort of a gimmick, view. Because I can obviously see a lot further than what the rating also gives you. But, that's just a little thing there. But obviously there's Indominus Rex. Looking to where he is. Whoop. When we go out there. So that's the hotels. So there's not much to really know about that other than to put the hotels down. Now, some other key items. Obviously, guests cater for monorails. All right, so monorail is the only form of transport in your park. You don't need it in every park. You only need it when you have a big park and the distance from the arrival point to where they want to go, like to say these dinosaurs over here, is a great distance. They're going to complain if all they've got is a path that takes a really long time to walk. So the bad thing about monorails is they are very cumbersome to install. They take a hell of a lot of room, these stations, very bulky. I wish there was a small little drivable option as well, or something like that, but there isn't. This is pretty much what we got. So you have to cater for it, and it's a good idea to think about it in advance. Again, there's not really much you can do with this other than edit it, or you can even show the view. So we, for some reason, are riding on the roof. I think you can travel on the monorail, or am I stuck? Am I in the monorail? I can't tell. It may take off again. I don't know if I'm on the roof or in the monorail. Do I keep waiting? Takes a long time to go if it is the monorail. Oh, here we go. Alright, so in theory I am on the monorail now, so I can just view this. So these are nice little features here if you just want to have a look around your park. Get a feel for what your guests are potentially seeing if you are trying to design your park and you're thinking, oh, what's the best way? So, you know, we've got a good visibility here of the monorail for the pterodons. You can see our hotels, you know, and we can just travel along and end up on the roof of every station, which is, you know, as I said, it's a good little fun thing. And that's obviously, but there's not much else you can do other than build a station and build your track. All right, emergency shelters. Emergency shelters, as you can see, you can have coverage, and we can see that from our management views, which I explained in the other video. If we go on the emergency shelters, you can see the coverage here. So obviously, they need to be placed in a vicinity to cover certain areas. So guests can only, I guess, run so far. So we want to make sure that we have emergency shelters in place. Now, what they're handy for is if we have major storms and we want people to be protected, we can get people to go in there. If we have dinosaurs that suddenly are going to break out and eat everybody, we can again get people to go in there. Now, you have really only two settings here. One is, well, it becomes four, to be honest, right? So you've got open shelter, open all shelters. And once you have opened them, then they will turn to close shelter and close all shelters. I always use the all, right? There's hardly a time that I will do one, but I guess if I had a dinosaur that was just running around this area, I might choose to close this. All right, so something has happened, and I think they've done an update, and they've reversed this, because since I've been playing this, it's been backwards. If you wanted to initiate an emergency, it always said close shelters or close all shelters. So it's like it was backwards. It was like you were closing it, so the people ran in, and then you closed it behind them, which seemed weird. But this is gone opposite, and I don't know when this happened, so that's a little unusual, but this makes more sense. So if we have an emergency, we have a storm, we have a dinosaur out, we go across here, we can either open this one particular shelter or we can open all shelters at once. So that's the quickest way to create emergency in your entire park and protect everybody. So if you've got lots of shelters scattered around, you can just go open all shelters and you'll get that emergency warning, and then people will start running into those shelters and they'll just run in. Once your disaster is over, your storm's over, or your dinosaurs are all contained, you can then close all shelters, and then people will start leaving the shelters and going out. Right, so that's a handy feature to have because it can help with your island rating to protect everybody. So the other new addition they added was toilets. And again, we just need to make sure that we've got coverage of this to all of the guest facilities. It is an expense. It cannot make money, all right? So it does cost money. And there's really not much you can do other than deactivate it, look at some stats, or change the managed staff. Now, this is something that took me a little while to work out, but managed staff doesn't necessarily... It could increase the size or distance that it covers, but these don't necessarily work in a distance so much, but they increase the capacity. So if you look here and you see the same view when you hover over it, right, you can see guests. So this is the amount of capacity that we have right now. We can cater for 1,200 guests in this toilet. Doesn't look like it. I don't know how you get 1,200 guests in that toilet, but anyway. And at the moment, you got 534 or something using it, right? That's sort of the way I read it. Now, in my case here, because I'm in Sandpit and it's unlimited, I've just gone for maximum staff because I don't care. But you'll see it's costing me a lot of money. Now, generally when you put one down, it'll start like this with one staff. And you can see here, we have now a maximum capacity of 320. So the way I like to manage my facilities, and you'll see the price dropped, okay? So when you put one down, it'll start with one staff. And what I'll do is I'll look at this value and I'll make a decision of, is this appropriate or not? Now, in this case here, it says we've got a capacity of 320 and we've got the amount of guests using it is 320. So that instantly says to me, I want to increase because we have hit our capacity and we are depriving guests from using this facility. Now, in this case here, I could leave it like this with 2 staff, right? It's basically the optimum level at this moment. We've got 580 capacity, 580 using it. And, you know, the cost is low. Now, you might decide, well, that's cutting it a bit fine. I want to put a bit of a buffer. And you can do that because these numbers will go up and down depending on the time of day and all that sort of stuff. But you can see the cost increases as we add more staff, but so does our capacity. So in my case here, unlimited funds, I'll just go for the maximum, right? But what that also does is if we reduce that down to 1, you can see we've hit a limit here. Now, if I go to our toilet view, you can see here we've got a lot of blue, but now we've got red, red, and red, right? So we are not catering for these facilities enough for the guest count with our toilet. Now, if I increase this, and I'll just go up to full, and now we're in our toilet view, you can see it's all blue. So if you're looking at these views and you see your toilets are down, but you just put a toilet down, check the staff, right? There's been other times where I didn't check that, and I made the mistake and I went, oh, well, I better put another toilet in. And then I come back later and realized, oh, damn it, I only had 1 staff. And I spent all this money on a second toilet. Now, there may be a need at times where you'll need to build another toilet when capacity runs out. But at this stage here, we've got plenty of capacity and, you know, I'm actually overdoing it. Now, that same concept pretty much applies for every other shop in this game, right? So we've got different shops, whatever else. We have our managed staff. So, you know, you look at this value here, we've got guests, how many guests, how much capacity. So we can increase and you can see we can cater for a lot more guests, right? So exact same thing. So if you were looking in your management view and you saw that you had, say, that would be fun. If you had some red here for fun, you might want to look at this building that I've got here and decide, oh, I could increase the managed staff. It'll increase the cost and our profits may go down or whatever, but you're catering for the right amount of staff. Now, the other thing with all of these shops is they'll have 2 other settings that are key. One is, what are you selling? So pretty much every shop or every facility you put down has 3 options and 3 price points, right? So they're like a cheap product, a medium product, and an expensive product. So in this case here, bowling alley, you can play 3-pin, 6-pin, or 10-pin. We pick the one we want. So in this case here, just say I'm picking the cheap one, it's $4. Okay, so this $4 is how much it costs us to provide that service. Then what we do is we set our sell for value, right? So at the moment it's selling for $6 because I don't care. This is an unlimited park. Doesn't matter to me. Normally in another park, I'll probably jack the price up. But what you've got to do is also find a balance, right? So, you obviously don't want to go low because that means you then going into debt. So you always want to be at least selling for higher than what it costs you, which we're doing at $6. But most time in a real park, you can push it higher. So you might go to $8. But where I said the balance thing is that even though I'm catering for all of these people, you've got to watch the guest count, because as I jack this up, you can find that, suddenly our guest has gone down to 0. No one is going to pay $50 for a $4 3-pin game. So you need to find the sweet spot of, and this can be adjusted over time through the game as your park becomes more popular and better star rating. But you find the sweet spot, all right? So where it is making you a profit or a good profit, but it is also not, at a detriment that you are pushing customers away, right? It's just like any other shop in the real world. You want to sell it for the maximum price you can while keeping a great customer count. So in this case here, I've got massive amount of staff on this one. So this is a restaurant, right? As I said, same thing, restaurant here. We've got 3 options. I've gone for the middle option here. We could have gone for the Giganto steak at $20, right? And it's $10, and I've got it sell for 13. I'm losing money, and that could be for 2 reasons. One, I could reduce my staff count, but you can see as soon as I reduce my staff count, I've maxed out the restaurant. So I can go back up, but I could sell for more. So I could put the price up. Now you can see up to $15, the amount of guests didn't really change too much. But as soon as I start going higher, it starts dropping off significantly. So you're then pushing the price too much. $15, we're sitting here at even. All right, we've got an income and a running cost exactly the same. We're making no money, but we're even now. We're not at a loss. And that'll apply to pretty much every type of shop there is. They all sell different products, but they're all the same concept, right? Lunchbox, in the gift shop, sell price, and the amount of managed staff. Now, where it comes to working out what shops you want to put in, when you go into your guest facilities here, you have lots of options. What you want to look at is the star ratings, and you need to determine this based on what you actually want to get out of it. Each shop has a different star rating, okay? You can see here on the gift shop, this has 2 stars for fun, 3 stars for shopping. Getting a fast food, 3 stars for food, 3 stars for drink, 1 star for fun. Right, arcade is mainly fun, right? 4 stars fun, 2 stars drink. Toy, 3 stars fun, 2 shopping. Right, so on and so on, right? They all have a different value of star rating, and you can see like the bar here has a very high drink star, 1 star for food and 2 for fun, right? Clothes, no food, no drink, 4 stars for shopping and 1 fun, right? So that obviously comes into these little things in my management view here. So if I'm going in here and I'm looking and I go, oh, my food rating is down, these are red. Well, then I want to find a building that's going to give me maximum food. If my drink is low, I'm going to find a building that's low on drink. And you need to get a balance. So here we've got a couple of yellow that's in shopping. So I might want to look for another building here that specifically really caters for shopping, because our fun rating is good, our drink and food is good, right? So our shopping is the one that we're losing out here. So, you know, there's no point me looking for something that's balanced, right? So to find one that's got high fun and high shopping, like a gift shop or even a toy shop. See, a toy shop would be pointless here because the shopping rating is only 2, but the fun's high. My fun was fine. My shopping was low. So in this case here, I would probably more than likely go with a clothes shop. And I would just place my clothes shop somewhere in this vicinity. And we wait for it to be built. And these things need to be tweaked all the time. So as you build new guest facilities, so every time you build a new viewing point, you need to check these graphs to see what they're now missing out on or what they're demanding. But we'll go into that in a little bit more detail when I talk about the island rating and how to get 5 stars. So I just want to wait for this shop to be done. So hopefully we can see these yellows and these reds disappear. Okay, so we've still got 1 red there, but see, they all turned blue now. And so we could come in here, we could pick whatever we want to sell. Let's just stick with Dino Hat. But we could increase our staff if we wanted to. Whatever we want to do there to get our coverage right. Okay. So these ones here, they must be a bit far away from anything. But we've got that covered now with our clothes shop. Shopping's now good. Fun's good. Everything's good. All right. So that's most of the shops. That's the toilets. That's pretty much it. That's all the items in the guest facilities covered off. So hopefully that's given you some help. If you didn't already know this, it's definitely something I struggled with, and some of the help and instructions in the game are not 100% clear. So I thought I'd share what I have worked out, and hopefully that's helped you.
Alright, well hopefully that was enjoyable. Please remember, if you like what you see here, subscribe to the channel, click the like button, click the notification bell to be notified of all my future videos. Go and check out some of my other videos here that are linked on the side. And I thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.